Did you know in Thor: The Dark World, one of the original plans for the film actually had Dr. Jane Foster as a villain? She was going to be turned into a villain through the ether and destroy Svartalfheim before returning to Earth. They decided against it so they could keep the focus on Malekith. They also didn't want to introduce a third villain just before the climax of the film. Did you know in Monsters vs. Aliens, the plane they used to transport the monsters is based on a real-life aircraft? For the monsters of the film to get to San Francisco, the government agency used a large transport ship. The vehicle used by the main characters is based on an actual spacecraft called the Guppy. It was one of the original aircraft designs that NASA created in order to transport spacecraft parts and other large cargo that would be otherwise difficult to move across the country. A fitting tribute, as it falls in line with the mid-century throwbacks that populate the film. Did you know in The Notebook, the movie almost didn't happen because the stars didn't get along? The Notebook is one of the most romantic movies ever made, but it could easily have been a disaster. According to director Nick Cassavetes, the two leads did not get along at first. In fact, Gosling tried to have McAdams replaced before filming even began. But their relationship soon improved, thanks to an intervention staged by Cassavetes himself. He brought them into a room where they could air all their grievances they had with each other and work something out. They soon patched over their differences, enough to become a real-life couple for some time. Did you know in Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City, we get a much more faithful rendition of the original video games than the 2002 version of the franchise? For the 2002 version, there were many scripts written that were too dark, but the one they went with wasn't even originally a Resident Evil script. Paul W.S. Anderson admitted that he wrote it in the late 90s as a ripoff of the games. This movie's directly influenced and based off of the first two games in the series that focuses on the Spencer Mansion and Raccoon City Police Headquarters. Did you know in the Thor: Love and Thunder trailer, it gives us the first look at Thor's mystical goats? We have yet to see the two flying goats, Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Grinder, outside of the Marvel Comics before this trailer. In the comics, these two mythical goats pull Thor's chariot and have made over 50 appearances in the comics since their first appearance in 1976. While we don't know how much of a role these two extremely powerful creatures will play in the movie, we at least get a glimpse of them in the trailer pulling Thor's chariot.